Okay, council agenda, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular township council meeting of April 16th. Introduction, posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the township clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on January 4th, 2024, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on January 8th, 2024. I'd like to ask everybody to please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Here.
Mr. McGrath?
Here.
Mr. Musella?
Here.
Mr. Neglia?
Here.
Mr. Karifi?
Here.
Also in attendance are Business Administrator Jamie Crine, Mayor James Barbario, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, we have the CFO Len Ho, and the Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. Can we begin?
Thank you, yes. At this time, I'd like to ask the mayor to talk about his budget.
Yeah.
Before I go on, before I give my presentation, I do want to thank the department heads that are here today with us. So raise your hands. Thank you, and thank you for all you do for the community of Parsippany, all your hard work. Doesn't go unnoticed, it really doesn't by me, and I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it can be, and I'm glad you don't get involved in the politics, because that's important, so I appreciate that. That being said, I want to thank you, Council President Karifi Jr. Tonight, we are introducing a fiscally prudent, structurally balanced budget that corrects the course of the past and puts Parsippany back on a sound financial footing, which you will see shortly. I'm excited about this budget, not only because it is the lowest increase in years and much lower than the rate of inflation and the cost of living, also because it's an excellent reflection of the fiscal acumen and responsibility we have demonstrated for you over the past 2.5 years. The overall increase in the tax rate is 2.29%. The municipal portion increase is 2.78%. That's roughly a $6 per month, $75 a year impact on the average residential homeowner. I want to thank the Chief Financial Officer, Len Ho, Business Administrator Jamie Crine, our auditors, the Finance Committee, Council President Paul Karifi Jr., and Council Vice President Frank Neglia, our department heads, and most importantly, all of the residents who either attended our budget workshop or reached out with thoughtful comments. The proposed budget is the outcome of the strategic planning and choices my administration has made over the past 3 years to fix the mistakes of the past and invest in our people, the benefits of which are now being fully realized. Fixing our financial position has been my main goal since winning election in November of 2021. Prior budgets were underfunded, overly tight, and not realistic portrayals of what was necessary to run the day-to-day operations of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Fixing our financial position allows us the flexibility to not only make significant and strategic investments in the areas most requested by residents. 1, public safety, public works, paving and parks and recreation, water, sewer, but also offers us the opportunity to fill vacant positions to provide our employees with the backing to support enhanced customer service efforts for our residents now and in the future. For roughly $6 per month, the residents will continue to experience all of the services they have grown accustomed to, and will also see our commitment to their safety with funding of 3 additional police officers in this budget. Best of all, this budget doesn't have one-shot tricks and does not use any utility surplus. Together with the Finance Committee and our professionals, we have worked hard to provide the residents with a responsible budget that is responsive to their needs. We are turning over a balanced budget to the council that protects the great services our community deserves, the services our residents depend on, and continues investing in Parsippany's future, all while shouldering the burden of external influences like unfunded mandates from the state, the significant impact and uncertainty of the national economic issues. Like all of our residents, the township feels the impact of uncertain pricing, supply chain issues, continued inflation, and cost of living increases. This budget does not kick the can down the road like some have done in the past, and like some would want us to do. Budget decisions must make Parsippany a stronger community today as well as 5+ years from now. And I am proud that our budget reflects these values. I thank everyone up here, particularly those who joined me in focusing in finding solutions instead accentuating the problem for political gain. I thank everyone in dais and in the audience who have prioritized working together and joined us on this journey, correcting the course of the past and finally getting Parsippany back on sound financial footing. This budget is not just numbers on paper. When you gave me the honor of returning as your mayor in 2022, I spoke frankly about the dire straits the town finances were in. The 2024 municipal budget is our demonstrated commitment to fixing the township's finances and stopping the kick down the can road mentality. Our finances are positioned very well, not only for 2024, but for years to come. I thank you for your support, hard work, and partnership in making this happen. I want to thank you, the residents that are here tonight, and the department heads once again. I do want to pick out some things that we kept in the budget. One is we fund the Parsippany-Troy Hills Library $400,000, which we don't have to do, for health benefits. We met with the library and they had a shortfall, so I felt I did not want to take out that $400,000 as, you know, they needed some help from the township, which we did. The Mount Tabor Library, which we keep open, which is $80,000. The PAL, I made a commitment to the PAL. The vice president here today, Nick Manzino, thank you for coming, Nick, that I would keep the $175,000 in the budget for recreation and for the kids. With that being said, they are fully funding their own director, PAL director on their own, and that was part of the compromise. And I thank you, Nick, and the PAL for working with me over the last 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks, to resolve some of the issues, and that's exactly what was done, and that's what you're supposed to do. Also, last week, I had well, I didn't have it. It was a town hall meeting, which was held by the Indian community, and everybody's trying to make issues about it. There's no issue here. When somebody runs something privately, there's no issue whatsoever. People make it an issue for a reason. They want to make it an issue to make a political point, which doesn't belong here in Parsippany. I want to thank Jigger Shah for setting up that meeting, because I got a lot of great emails back, a lot of great feedback from the Indian community with regards to the meeting. I saw a letter to the editor in Tappan to Parsippany, which kind of threw me off because I know the person, and I really don't think the person wrote that letter to the editor, but that's beside the point. The point I'm trying to make here tonight, we're one community, right? So after that meeting was over with, the president of the Lake Parsippany Association asked me if I would do one very similar to the one we had last Thursday. I said, absolutely. I would do it for the whole entire community as well. And here's why. It was well organized, and I appreciate the way you organized it. Nobody came up to scream and yell at anybody. One question was heard, the person sat down, and we got to explain ourselves. That's common sense government, and that worked very well. So Jigger, I want to take the time to thank you for that, and all the other Indians that were there for that night, and it really went well. I am looking forward to doing more of these. I've been in contact with many associations, but I'm looking forward to the one in Lake Parsippany. I spoke to the president, like I said, and we can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just part of what, not everybody's always going to agree with it. If I go into a room, everybody's going to agree with me, I'm in the wrong room. So, or if I go in a room, I'm the smartest person, I'm in the wrong room. With that being said, though, that's going to kick off Mayor going around town, because that was really great the way it was organized. And also today, I just wanted to let everybody know, as you saw some of the articles in the Parsippany Focus and the Tappan of Parsippany with regards to the school board. The comments that were made at the last meeting about me, Let me tell you something. I love this town. And when I got to read stuff like that, it's very frustrating because it's not true. But what I did do today is I reached out to the president of the Board of Education. We had a really, really nice talk, a very good talk. And we're going to be meeting to discuss the perimeters of things that we can share services on, about the pilot program and stuff like that. We don't need to be fighting anymore. It's not worth it, because it doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt the Board of Ed. Who's it hurt? Hurts all of us, hurts the residents. Because I got a lot of text messages between yesterday and today with regard to some of the comments that were made on a Facebook site and stuff. I tell them, you gotta let them roll off your shoulder. That's the bottom line. You gotta let them, because they're not all coming from from the person that's actually writing it. And I've learned that a long time ago. Social media can be used as a tool for negativity, and that's what it's being used for now. So with that being said, you know what? We have to still got to run the town, still got to do the things that we need to do here in the town. Now, I'm going to tell you now, and you can ask our tax assessor, as of April 1st, when all the tax appeals came in, it's not a good sight for Parsippany. We got about, $1 billion in tax appeals? $4 billion. $1 billion in tax appeals. That is astronomical, okay? So we have a lot of work to do. We can't lose businesses, but we might because of the climate, the way it is. Post-COVID, what's happened with post-COVID? No one is going into office spaces anymore. So there's going to be a need of redevelopment in this township. And basically, it's been forced on us with the new affordable housing rules. The new affordable housing rules, and I discussed this with the Board of Education president today, it gives power to like one group, a significant amount of power, to decide where things can go, where they can't go. And Parsippany is going to be in the flux of it, right in the middle of it. I feel bad for the other towns as well, but I can't worry about the other towns right now. I got to worry about taking businesses away from them and bringing them here. That's about it. But that being said, that's one thing that is going to really, really shape the future of Parsippany, how we're going to deal with it. Now, as of January 31st of 2025, we need to have our affordable housing plan in place. Okay, and this has nothing to do with pilots. This has to be in place. The court's mandated it, saying you need to have your plan in place January 31st of 2025, or you might end up like Milburn, where they strip them of their immunity. We don't want to be stripped of our immunity, because what happens with that, if they strip you of your immunity, what happens is they'll say they can determine where affordable housing will go. So a lot of it's going to be negotiating back and forth and stuff like that. So we have our work cut out, but we have a lot of positive things, and that is Parsippany. I got to tell you, it's a great town to live in. I've been here all my life. I love it. It's and I'm really proud of this budget, because when I came back, and you probably know the whole story. I don't know if I've ever said it before, but when I came back and when I left in 2017, Parsippany was in such financial great shape. It was, you couldn't ask for a better position. All our office spaces were full. When I came in 2010, I filled 4.7 million square feet of office space. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you why. Take Parsippany, take the county. The county has 26 million square feet of office space. Out of that 26 million, 14 million lie in Parsippany. That's a lot. So the county doesn't want to see us lose any business. We don't want to see us lose any business. But when you have $1 billion in tax appeals, that's going to be something that, we're going to have to deal with. But I got to tell you, we got a great tax assessor, and I'm sure he's going to fight it tooth and nail. That being said, Council President, I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and we can shift it over to, I guess, Jamie Crine to do the presentation of the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President, Council. One of the most critical responsibilities of municipal elected officials and professional staff serving the town is to create a balanced budget each year. This is a significant task which is done with careful consideration and strategic decision-making. The budget process for us is year-long activity. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes into the process of developing a very responsible and responsive budget for our residents. I want to thank our great department heads who worked all year and are diligent and do their best to make sure that they are keeping their budgets in line. And more importantly, I want to thank Len Ho, our CFO, who lives and breathes these numbers and does everything possible to make sure that we are serving our residents that we're funding how to serve our residents. The 2024 municipal budget makes Parsippany a stronger community today and, as Mayor said, over 5 years from now. And it continues providing the services our residents deserve. It ensures we are providing a fiscal responsible framework in the present and for years to come. We are putting forward a responsible, balanced budget that provides the services our community deserves, and we have worked hard to minimize the amount of the increase while dealing with significant nationwide economic impacts and external influences. These decisions are made through a year-long process of analyzing and prioritizing public safety and public services, which make Parsippany a great place to live and work. The administration and staff partners with the Township Council. We all work together to anticipate the needs of the residents while exercising responsible spending on behalf of the taxpayer. We believe that this budget does that. Hope you find this information in this presentation informative. You may view more detailed budget information on the town website tomorrow when we'll have the introduced budget up there. We'll have the most current user-friendly budget, and this presentation will be up there too. So just want to go over a couple of things real quickly, and this won't be a long presentation for you. We have the budget goals that helped us formulate how we strategize doing this budget. There was 9 of them, but the basic tenet was, strong fiscal management and maintaining exceptional fiscal oversight, and that's really where our department heads come in. This budget, the goal of it is to correct the course of the past, finally put Parsippany back on sound financial footing, to minimize tax burden on residents. It prioritizes public safety, because Parsippany residents should be safe where they live, learn, work, and play. And anything less is unacceptable. One of the biggest goals, and you hear it, it's a cliche, but cliches become cliches because they're true, is do more with less. We want to get the best value for each tax dollar. We want to prioritize resident services and deliver them more efficiently, maintaining outstanding services and providing tangible, visible results for our residents. We offer more services than any other municipality in the county, and that is beyond question, in my opinion. Proactively manage responsible development. Mayor alluded to this, with the affordable housing aspects that are coming up, there's going to be development happening. We're going to have to manage how it happens and try to make it as responsible as possible. In doing so, we have to advance our court-ordered affordable housing obligations while revitalizing our local economy, adding ratables while balancing overdevelopment. It's really going to be a difficult task, but everybody working together is up for it. Continue to aggressively seek new recurring revenue streams. One of the things that has come up and one of the things that will be talked about in the next few months is marijuana and cannabis, and that will be brought to you soon. Will this action and everything that we are dealing with from a budget perspective, the question that we asked was, will this action compound a tax rate increase in 2025 or negatively affect future budgets? And we want to make sure that we're continuing to foster resident engagement. Some of the challenges we were up against were nationwide economic impacts and external influences. Right now, there's a 4.1 rate of inflation in 2023. That's following the 8% average inflation rate from 2022. In the first quarter of 2024, new leasing volume in northern New Jersey declined by 9.5%. As Mayor told you, we are very heavily reliant on office space. And that's from the previous year, it's the lowest total since the third quarter of 2021. It's scary stuff. And this is from Cushman and Wakefield Market Beat report on northern New Jersey. So it's very specific. It's not just a nationwide thing. That's specific to this corridor. The consumer price index increased 3.5% over the last 12 months. Prices are going up, sizes are going down, You feel it, and we're feeling it too. The troubles continue in the office sector. Office vacancy rates reached a new record high last month. Leasing activity has dropped. Office availability and delinquencies have increased. There are more than twice as many more unoccupied office square feet than occupied compared to a year ago. Again, that's not a national thing. We're talking about New Jersey and this corridor specifically. So a reduction in office use means a reduction in annual property taxes paid by the office buildings and a reallocation of the tax burden to residents. So it either means that we have to cut services drastically if we lose multiple buildings, or the burden falls on the residents, which is something we want to avoid as much as we possibly can. Some of the other challenges we face are the unfunded mandates that we experience from the state, like the updated affordable housing mandated obligation. The new law is potentially, could potentially have a negative impact. I don't even think that's potentially. It will negatively impact our community. Basically who it helps is developers. It doesn't help affordable housing folks or need affordable housing. It doesn't help the environment. It doesn't help municipalities who have to deal with all the services that go along with these new developments. And obviously it doesn't help the school or the infrastructures either. It jams more development down every community's throat. That's pretty much what it does. It makes it a lot easier for developments to bypass the normal processes so they can move forward with their development, regardless of how it affects the municipality. Galvanized pipe, new debt to cover the lead galvanized pipe mandate may cost approximately $5 million to the town. That's not including what it'll cost residents themselves. PFAs, we heard from our water superintendent at the budget hearing, Sean Andres, the other night, that preliminary estimates to comply with new regulations will probably cost about $27.5 million. And that's preliminary, so it could be more. It's also the ever-increasing cost of residential services that we provide, and the appropriation pressures and increasing costs we do not control, like healthcare and debt and utility bills and those sorts of things. The budget process that we have in place is put in place to make sure that residents have the multiple opportunities to have a say in how things go. The process starts the year prior. For this year, it started in 23, when the CFO and myself met with department heads and helped develop their department budgets. At that time, we also closed the book on 2023 and prepped for the annual financial statements, which is one of the requirements that a municipality has to do. Between February and March, budgets were prepped for presentation to mayor, continue to be worked on and developed. Then we presented the budget after it came to a better place to the finance committee, where our mayor, myself, CFO, our auditors presented draft budget to the finance committee, which is made up of Council President Karifi and Council Vice President Neglia. After they made some suggestions, they were implemented. Their input was included, and that process is important because it links the administration and mayor's township budget to what council wants to achieve for the community. So the finance committee is made up of members selected from this council to represent this council. So it's a coming together of the two bodies. And that's when the council president and council vice president asked us to schedule administrative departmental budget hearings. We did that, and that happened last week, where multiple department heads came and presented their budget. Were open to questions and showed you what was going on in their departments, and talked about the need for the items that they're requesting in their budget. Tonight, we're introducing the budget. Tonight, it gets turned over to the council, and it's not the administration's budget anymore. It becomes the council's budget. And this is where budget gets introduced. Budget's publicized in the newspaper and on the web. You're listening to the municipal budget presentation. The 28-day period that's required between the introduction and the public meeting and formal adoption, which is scheduled for May 21st. At that point, during the public hearing, any member of the public can come up and ask questions and get more answers before the vote. If any member of the public has any questions prior to that point, they're welcome to send them in to me, and I'll get them answered as quickly as I possibly can. The property tax levy breakdown is pretty much as it is in most municipalities. The municipal portion of your tax bill is 25%. So for 25 cents of the tax dollar funds all of the services that you experience from the municipality, whether it's your water, whether it's DPW cleaning up your road and filling a pothole, or the police protecting you. All of the services are done with just 25 cents. It's pretty much amazing, if you ask me. And it's a real feather in the cap to our department heads and our workers in each department who really care about what they do and care about serving you to the best of their ability. So that's 25% of it. Morris County taxes are right around 10%, with the county open space too, 10.2%. The municipal open space is 0.5%, it says 1% here because it rounds up. Library is about 1.3%, and the largest is the school district tax, which is 63%. What you'll see is it's a big pink area right there. That's generally how it is in every municipality. There's not one municipality where the school budget is lower than all of the others. They have mandates that they have to deal with too. So I wanted to talk about some of the good news that we have going and that we experienced this year. So Moody's came in twice. Moody's is a rating agency, and Standards & Poor Global Ratings came in once. This is some really good news for the municipality, because not only is it an independent voice telling us that we're doing things well and we're moving in the right direction, it saves us millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Because when you have a better bond rating, it's like your credit score and going for a mortgage or a car loan. If you have a better credit score, you get a better loan, lower rate. With the rising rate environment that we're in right now, having a good bond rating is really important for us. So some of the things that Moody's said to us, they pointed to the town's conservative budgeting practices, cost-saving measures, and our strong financial management team. And the rating reflects the township's strong economy and recently improving finances, offsetting its elevated leverage and fixed costs. From a financial position, the township has seen a strong recovery after some declines several years ago and modest impact from the pandemic. The MIG-1 reflects, that's one of the ratings, reflects the township's strong underlying credit quality, evidenced by its AA2 issuer rating and its reliable history of market access and healthy liquidity. Standards & Poor, which came in 2021 and downgraded us, came back a few months ago and upgraded us, which is really, like I said before, it's an incredible a good thing for us, not only from an ego standpoint, but from a dollars and cents standpoint. It saves you money. They said S&P Global Ratings revised the outlook of its A rating on Parsippany-Troy Hills Township, New Jersey, general obligation bonds to stable from negative. At the same time, S&P Global Ratings affirmed its A rating on the township's GO debt. The outlook revision reflects our view of the township's significantly improved finances during the past 2 fiscal years after experiencing a material reserve drawdown. So these are things that are really important to us. The next slide is something that popped up too, which is also important because we all talk about how high our taxes are and how much we pay, and we do pay way too much, all over. There was an article done by NJ.com that puts things in perspective and rated us against the other municipalities in our county. We came in 23rd out of 39, meaning that there are 22 municipalities in the county with higher property taxes. Now, just because they're higher doesn't make us happy about paying our taxes, but I hope it provides a little bit of perspective. It illustrates how much value our residents experience with lower than average taxes when compared to all of the other municipalities in the county. And we have by far the most comprehensive services provided for our residents. So this screen, there's a lot of data. Basically, the most important things to pick out are the 2024 projected local tax levy is 2.78. The total municipal tax increase, as Mayor said earlier, is $75.83 a year, or $6.31 per month. With that, you're getting all the services that are provided. We're adding 3 additional police officers for your safety. One of the other things that we talked about is we put in the budget the ability to look for a new cricket field for our users, or a permanent cricket field. So that's in there. So there's a lot of items in here. The total projected overall increase is 2.29 right now. We believe that's probably going to be lower than that. That's our conservative estimate. On here, you can see the fire districts and their rate. Since there's 6 different districts, it's hard to quantify them all together, so that's separated out. And you can see where we stand with our total tax levy and the total tax impact. Our total budget this year is $62 million, $228,625. This budget, to summarize what we're doing here, is it's a fiscally prudent, structurally balanced budget. It sets the foundation for continued improvement, investment in public safety, infrastructure, roads, technology, while adhering to a sound fiscal plan. The overall tax increase is 2.29. Local tax is 2.78, 75.83 annual municipal tax impact, 631 per month. Doing more with less, as we discussed, is roughly 25 cents of the total tax funds all of the township services. One of the best things, and it's been talked about here, it's responsible. There can be responsible use of utility surplus, as long as it's generated and regenerated fully and more, and you bring in more than you use. Well, that's a tool for us. The great part about this budget is there's no utility surplus utilized. So this is our dollars utilizing the whole budget. It's great. Provides a fiscally responsible framework for today and for years to come, corrects the course of the past, and puts Parsippany back on sound financial footing. We hired 9 police officers this year. We're going to add 3 more. The increase in LPR, license plate recognition, cameras providing real-time alerts for stolen vehicles. This stuff is working. Our police answered over 60,000 calls for service. Catalytic converters, which we hear about a lot. Residential and commercial burglaries, which we hear about a lot. Stolen motor vehicles, which we hear about a lot. All 23 was lower than 22 in all of them. 103 and 22 catalytic converters, 64 and 23. Burglaries, 81 and 22, 78 and 23. Stolen vehicles, 43 and 22, 32 and 23. Now, this isn't something these numbers are fluid, so they constantly change. But it's an indication that your town is working for you, and I hope you feel that. This budget, there's the maintenance of approximately 210 miles of road. In 23, 5.3 miles of road was resurfaced, 1.6 miles reconstructed. 24, we're planning for 6.4 miles resurfaced and 3.4 miles reconstructed. We've had labor peace, pretty much. Contracts settled with 3 out of the 4 bargaining units, and I do believe that we're fairly close with the 4th unit right now. The township gained 12 million in new ratables through assessments. This slide shows what you get for your 25 cents. It just goes over some of the services. You feel them. You get your bulk pickup. You get your garbage and recycling pickup, weekly bulk pickup. You get yard wastes, plowing and maintenance of 400+ lane miles of road in 26 parks. Water, we maintain over 220 miles of water mains, 34 remote facilities, 18 well stations, 6 booster pumping stations. It's all on here, and this can be accessed. But police department crossing guards, student resource officers, senior citizen services. There's, for $6.31 more municipal taxes, with a 2.78 local tax increase in 2024, there are outstanding services provided, and we're happy to do so. There's no more kicking the can down the road. This is, we're maintaining exceptional fiscal oversight, and that's going to continue in 24 and 25, and that's something that we're looking to make sure is, written in stone for moving forward for here in Parsippany. This budget will continue to enhance town parks and recreational offerings, continue to foster residential engagement, more services than any other municipality in the county. It's a budget with no reliance on utility surplus. It's a budget running off of our own dollars. Sorry to repeat that, but it's really important to say. And Parsippany is in excellent financial condition resulting from adhering to a sound fiscal plan over the past 2.5 years. And that's all we have. Thank you for your time.
I just want to add one thing with regards to the budgets when I came back in 21, and I'm going to keep repeating this because one thing I've heard from the residents over the last 3 years is public safety. They wanted us, they came to a council meeting, we don't care, we want more cops. And they're in the back, some of them right now, and I want to thank them for all they do for the community of Parsippany. But that being said, we went from 81 deployable up to now 99, I think it's 99, or 97, 98, and that's why we have 3 more on right now. And we're looking at 3 retirees, so we'll add another 3, but that's just replacing the retirements. We made a commitment for public safety. We didn't have, when I came back, we didn't have a traffic unit, we didn't have the DB, the detective bureau was, suffering. Now we're running on full force here in the town, which is very important. It's very important for public safety. And that's what the residents really wanted from the township, and we gave it to them. And it took a little time, and, it's going to take some more time to get it to numbers we all feel comfortable with. But we're going to get there. So I wanted to just make that clear since they just came into the room. You guys do an excellent job. Every township employee here does an excellent job. They're committed, they're public servants, and they do an excellent job for the community of Parsippany. And I thank them for that. So, and I feel the same way our business administrator feels, council president and council vice president, because we worked on the budget together. This is a prudent, fiscally responsible budget. There's a difference between cutting a budget and being fiscally responsible. This is fiscally responsible.
Thank you. Matt?
Okay, upcoming meetings, May 7th, 2024 at 7 p.m. There's the agenda meeting. May 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. Ordinances for second reading and public hearing, there are none. Moving into the public session portion, I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay, so the public portion is open to the public. You can speak on any matter you wish. You have 5 minutes to speak. Okay. No one wants to speak. We're gonna go in once. Okay, we see people. Come on up, Mr. Fazan. Yeah, we probably should.
Sorry about the handout coming late. I'm Tony Fasano, 41 Robin Hood Road, Morris Plains, New Jersey. I've been a Parsippany resident for over 30 years. Made a handout because I wanted to run through some facts and stop what the rumors going around. Budget's finished.
Could you just speak into the mic?
Budget's finished. Senior citizen facility is intact and transportation will not be cut. Town employees will not be laid off so far. In order to keep services, there will be no privatization as of yet. Contract negotiations with the town will continue with employees. The town has increased needs to increase commercial tax revenue through the pilot program. This takes off takes the property, off the state list and for affordable housing. We are short approximately 400 units that are being worked on and are not on the pilot program. Governor Murphy just published a thing that a court order, and it's included in there that Milburn lost its immunity. And it's fact from an Essex County judge. The cost of affordable housing will increase, as Jamie and everybody else has discussed, if everybody gets their way. Shared services between other towns. Jamie's tried it between 20 years. I know Paul has, Frank has. Some of the towns reject it, some of the towns like it and want it. We tried to have, some of it's been a waste of time. Board of Education claims they're a separate entity and don't want to cooperate with reducing all costs. Now the town budget is finished, Board of Education should be next. Audit of the budget converted to a standard profit and loss statement instead of having 160 pages of PFDs would help the accountants. Accountants are genius. There's figures buried all over the place. Business lines in terms of expenses, quarter versus year and last year, and differences explained in your PFDs. I'll ask the town lawyer how to produce and correct, so I can correct the forms. To get an Excel database of residents, last names of children, and the address to compare to building codes to ensure they're all being taken care of. This, if we find out of compliance, be billed back to the landlord or the owner. I asked this week, I emailed our political parties, and from a year-round total urban, the governor signed all the urban schools will be fully funded for the year. They're not going to have a regular school year. So that's going to increase our tax rates in the state of New Jersey. It may come here. So this is going to be a major issue. We need to get our politicians in Trenton emailed. We've fought this thing, and it's a political suicide for anybody that's running on the councils, is to have equal funding per child and a voucher system. If you decide you want to go to a private school, let them go to a private school. I did a comparison between private schools are approximately running $5,000 to $10,000 under our cost per student. Their average grades in the SATs are about 1850 out of 2,000. Ours are ranging 1050. So something's wrong. So there's other handouts that I have in tonight. Also, they complain about overcrowding. My son graduated in 2005. We didn't have Mount Tabor School back then. We had 12,000 students. Today we have Mount Tabor School with 7,300 students. So population's gone down drastically. I don't know where everybody's expecting, unless we get a massive surge in the next couple of years, that we have to have affordable housing. Also, like Cassandra, with our safety meetings, my request for a speed limit sign be put up, because we've had several instances in Sedgefield of people blowing through and not caring. So I took a picture. It's located in the packet, what's there, and while I was taking the picture, people left tread marks.
30 seconds.
They're all hit. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Vijay Panchamya from Glenmont Commons. We've been here a few times. It's almost 6 months since we raised the issue with our roads. I know the council or the mayor had a meeting with the builder maybe over a month back. So we are looking for some update if there is any progress made in resolving our road issue. And it is becoming again, little acute because of all the rain we have been getting in last, 3-4 weeks. And some of the patches are coming off that were done about a month back or 2 months back. So really looking for some positive feedback that, we are making some progress in resolving this issue. So do you have any update?
Council President?
Yep.
So, the attorney for the developers had some health issues as of late. I spoke to him about a week ago. They're still compiling their data to get a response to us. In the meantime, I think as I reported before, the sewer department was there checking the sewer system to make sure that if we're going to accept it, that it's in working order. The same is being done with the water, and there are some issues out there. But, I think we're making progress. It's not moving quick enough for anybody. The town council doesn't like it, the mayor doesn't like it. I know the sewer department doesn't like it, nor does the water. So, but I still think things are moving in the right direction. We'll just have to see. We're just waiting for the response from the developer.
Right. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the town council. I am a concerned citizen
State
who
your name,
wish...
sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tim Berrios, 24 Farmstead Drive. I am a concerned citizen who wishes to address recent events that have taken place within our community. Before I begin, I would like to clarify that the views I have expressed here are solely my own and do not represent the opinions of the Board of Education or its matters. Firstly, I wanted to bring attention to the divisive town hall meeting organized by Mr. Jigashaw on April 11, 2024. While I was relieved to attend without interference, I was deeply troubled by the organizers' decision to limit participation to certain segments of the population. It is discouraging to witness elected township representatives failing to challenge this, especially in a democratic society where every voice should be heard and valued. Additionally, I was dismayed by the disparaging remarks made by our township leader towards the over 900 taxpaying citizens who exercised their First Amendment rights during the December 28th, 2023 Town Council meeting. Many of us took time away from our families or work during the holiday season to speak about a common cause. Such remarks and core values demonstrated by our leader undermines the principle of free speech and civic engagement. Secondly, I want to address the issues of the promised discussions regarding the allocation of pilot funds for our school district. Despite multiple assurances made from November 9th, 2023, up until this afternoon, it is evident that no progress has been achieved. The lack of funding allocated in the township's 2024 budget raises doubt about the sincerity of these promises and highlights a concerning gap between rhetoric and action. Finally, I urge each of you to reflect on your oath of office and consider whether all stakeholders have been given a seat at the table in this pilot funding decision-making progress. It is incumbent upon us to ensure transparency, accountability, and inclusivity in our governance. I beg you to withhold approval of this budget until all voices have been heard and all concerns addressed. Failure to do so will signal a disregard for the democratic principles upon which our community is founded. In conclusions, I call upon the town council to honor their commitment to the people of Parsippany and uphold the highest standards of integrity and accountability in their actions. Let us work together to build a community where every voice is valued and every citizen can participate in sharpening or shaping our collective futures. And also, as it was announced today, that there is a promise of another conversation to be had with the administration that came today, about 3 o'clock.
30 seconds.
Not unlike all other promises, these words are pie crust promises, easily made, easily broken. Thank you.
Just two questions. One, you had
Sir,
mentioned...
please state your name.
Oh, sure. Gonzalo Macedo, 24 Barber Street. Two questions. One, you had mentioned of a cricket field being planned in the budget. There was some issues a while back that they were trying to do it on the other side of Smith Field, which is on the other side of 46. I want to make sure it's not there because there's been a promise of a wall, sound barrier wall that's never been put up. So that would be taking down trees. So I want to make sure that's addressed before you move forward. And then two, do this increase apply to the pilots as well? Or just the residents have to absorb it? That's it.
We'll answer at the end.
Oh, yeah,
Are those your,
But you
those are your
answered
two
one of the other
questions?
gentleman's questions.
No, those are your two questions?
Yeah, so I have
Okay,
time,
yep.
so if you could just
Now,
answer.
no, now you get your answers.
Okay, perfect, yeah, I'm done, that's it.
I'm gonna wait till after everyone, that's what I thought.
He's gonna wait till everyone's done speaking, then he's gonna get the answers.
Okay.
So why don't I get it? The other gentleman for the roads got an answer.
Yeah.
I didn't know you
All
were
right,
planning on
I can discuss, I mean, I was gonna wait till the very end after everybody speaks, but I'll respond to the cricket field.
Okay,
We haven't found a location yet.
okay,
So there's for that, but there's also in the budget a cricket pitch for one of the fields that we use now. That's what's in the budget.
okay,
We have looked, in certain areas, but we're trying to stay away from residential if we can.
Yep.
So that's where we are right now with the cricket field, but the cricket pitch is definite.
yeah, I'm okay with one being instituted,
Right.
it's not a problem. I think just affecting the taking down of trees, especially that there's no sound barrier on 80, which was promised and approved by the state, but
And
the state has not
what
put it
was
in.
your other question?
The other question was just trying to understand if the
Well, there is
pilots
no, there is no pilot money. There's no pilot money that's,
It won't increase, right? Is what you're-
well, there's none right now because the ones that were just passed haven't even been built yet. So there's no pilot money there. 1515's not even done yet, so there's no pilot money there. So, and I didn't negotiate that 1515. That was, I started the negotiation in 17 and then it went to 2018, but there's no pilot money. So when you keep hearing that you want pilot money, well, there's nothing to give.
No, I'm
And
not saying, I'm not asking for...
no, I'm
I'm
just
trying
saying
to
what you're saying
understand,
in
will
here.
the increase
And I
of the
understand,
residents
yeah.
and the pilots as well?
Well, the pilot doesn't increase nothing on the residents in that sense. You get revenue is what
Yeah,
you get.
that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're circling.
Council President, well, generally, sir, the pilots increase every year anyway. There's a schedule that's set up in a financial agreement that sets for increases.
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council members. I'm Andy Chaffo, Parsippany resident. I'm also the president of the Parsippany School Board. I am here tonight speaking as an individual citizen and not on behalf of the Board of Education. However, I would like to extend a thank you to the mayor for the conversation today. I do believe that through communication, mutual understanding of our shared issues, and you alluded to it in your opening remarks, Mayor, we work for the residents of the town. And together, we have to service them in whatever way is the most beneficial to them. So I look forward to the conversation with you next week.
Yep.
And thank you for extending the invitation.
Thank you.
I have, excuse me, 3 questions. I think they're fairly easy to answer. What is the township's fiscal year?
January.
It doesn't, is it January?
January through December.
Okay, so it's a calendar year. Thank you.
Calendar, right.
There was mention, I'm about to do
Understand.
there was mention of about $1 million of tax appeal. Approximately what percentage of those are coming from a corporate office space? Is that the majority of the?
Just wait until the end after he
appeals?
asks all his questions.
And I think you also answered this. Excluding UPS, how much pilot revenue does the town anticipate receiving in 2024? Thank you.
Thanks, Council President. It was $1 billion, not a million, $1 billion.
Yeah.
1 billion. The other question was,
Is it commercial?
yeah, is it commercial? I don't have those numbers. I can get them for you.
The majority is commercial.
I'm sure it is.
The majority is commercial.
Good evening. My name is Jigar Shah. As I was just announced, 50 Pondview Road, Morris Plains, New Jersey. It's unfortunate I heard some few people wants to play politics in this town. I represent Indian community. Indian community is the fastest growing community in this town. People come to me for several issues. Even in December when I was in India, people kept calling me. Jigabhai, what is this? Jigabhai, what's going on with this? There's burglary going on. There's crime going on. Everybody questions me, so I figured the best way to do is to bring in the Indian American community. Even in the pouring rain, so many people came out to ask questions to the mayor. I'm grateful for the mayor, the council, the BA, police chief, and others panel who showed up. And I appreciate it. They answered questions. Now, so many people came up to me saying, Jigabhai, this was the most informative and organized and disciplined town council, town hall meeting that they ever appointed or came to. And things were explained. As Mayor said, even Mayor claims that he got so many compliments. We were there, so many people said it. I wish people would stop playing politics. This was my functions, I organized it. It's my decision who comes and who goes. If people have issues, Mayor does his own town hall meetings, and people can go there. I'm representing the community. As long as I represent the community and community comes to me for help, I'll be doing it, and I'll probably do more. I wish people will respect that of what I have done and what I will do in future. Thank you.
Venezia, Parsippany. I've been a homeowner in Parsippany for 46 years, and until a few months ago, I never gave the slightest thought that one day I might return home from vacation only to discover that my home had been taken over by squatters. So far, I've not heard of any squatting incidents in New Jersey, but squatting is a real and growing problem. I've seen multiple TV news items where squatting incidents have been reported in New York, Florida, and Texas. One squatter was brazen enough to describe a step-by-step blueprint on how he successfully squatted a home to 500,000 of his TikTok followers. With the rapid spreading of news on social media, it seems only a matter of time before squatting catches on in New Jersey. Getting rid of squatters can be an expensive, time-consuming ordeal for a homeowner. In New Jersey, the first step is to provide the squatters with a written notice that they're trespassing and must vacate the property. The squatters then have up to 30 days to respond. If they refuse to leave, the next step is to file an eviction notice with the court. Maybe months before the court case is heard and a court order for the removal of the squatters is issued. Meanwhile, the homeowner may have to find somewhere else to live for several months at a considerable expense. And there's also the added expense of hiring a lawyer. Florida and Texas have already addressed their squatting problem by passing anti-squatting laws that protect their residents. I would like New Jersey to pass a similar law. To that end, I would like our administration and our council to use its influence to urge our state representatives to pass an anti-squatting law, modeled on the Florida law, which will protect New Jersey residents. And if, at this time next year, no action has been taken by the state, excuse me, then Parsippany may need to pass its own municipal anti-squatting ordinance itself. And, I would like to hear any comments that you may have on this issue.
Bob, it's funny you say that. I was speaking with a gentleman today with regards to anti-squatting ordinance here in town. I think you're talking about, I know the state senate has a bill, 725 right now, with regards to an anti-squatting bill, but I was gonna, ask the council or our township attorney to draft an ordinance for anti-squatting here in Parsippany. I just had a conversation about 2 hours ago. So it's nice that you bring it up, because, it could happen here.
Yeah.
So, I'll speak to the township attorney with regards to how we can go forward with it. But I think, Mike, it's Bill Senate number 725.
Yeah, that was Senator Steinhardt and Senator Stack who authored that. So I think it was referred out to committee last Thursday.
Make sure it's at least as tough as Florida,
Okay.
because they got some good stuff.
I just want to I could not agree with you more. And before the mayor said that, I was going to immediately ask Mr. Lavery to start drawing something up, because we're not putting up with that here.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think there's a zero tolerance policy for that. It's your home. If somebody's there and you don't want them there, get rid of them.
Thank you.
You got me nervous when you said you came home.
Yeah, that's what I thought you
Like,
said.
oh my God, I didn't even know about that.
Nick Homiak, Lake Hiawatha. When we hear what the 25 cent a dollar will do with the municipal tax, when we see the cumulative effect of taxes and something in return, we should relieve ourselves, because if we don't need these tax ratables as much as we believe we do. And these tax ratables, this overdevelopment, has degraded our quality of life in many, many ways, except maybe financially. But for example, we say, oh, we're not using the water and sewer surplus anymore. Well, guess why not? We had 2 raises and a water and sewer increase. So there shouldn't be any need to use it anymore. And then when we talk about playing politics, well, in the last administration, when Mayor Soriano attempted a meager tax increase, even lower than this, to take care of the water and infrastructures and everything, he was shot down. Now, if that's not politics, and to this day, the telltale of it all remains former Councilwoman Janice McCarthy's letter of explanation of why Parsippany was in a crisis with their tax and why they needed some kind of an increase. Read her letter. It could probably still be found in the Focus or online. Now, this is from a message, a lone but welcome victory in the affordable housing reform legislation. We're in the conformance now, and affordable housing has always had environmental rules that this town conveniently forgot in the past, and it actually worked against us. We lost a couple of landscapes that actually could have been open space forever. But it's all about affordable housing numbers, because the thing was getting out of control again, and they forgot about environmentally sensitive lands and how these lands protect our water supply. The Highlands is 14% of the state, 70% of the state gets their drinking water. So it's important to save the landscapes. And here's what happened. For conforming municipalities, which we are, in the Highlands planning area, environmentally sensitive areas as provided in the regional master plan and as determined by the Highlands Council will be excluded from the vacant land analysis. Good. That municipal fair share housing obligations for conform municipalities in the Highlands planning area, the number of units, both market rate and affordable, will not exceed the number of units determined by the Highlands Council's municipal last build-out report. The bill with our amended language passed in their respective chambers on Monday, March 18th. It is expected the governor will sign the bill. The only thing I didn't do was to follow up to see whether the governor did in fact sign the bill, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. So maybe somebody here knows. So please don't tell me that that's not good news. And thanks again for Mayor Soriano for finally getting us in Highlands conformance, which we should have been in 2010 until Mr. Inglesino showed up. And if you want to see a copy of the letter, I could email you this letter if you haven't seen it already. All right?
Thank you.
Could I add something?
Yes, please.
So thank you, Nick, for that, and he's right, and I think it might be prudent for us to maybe get Mary Jude from the Highlands Council to come in and maybe elaborate on that, maybe do a presentation or just tell us what that actually means to us. Because, and I think I sent everyone those words from the Highlands. If there's any way we can mitigate some of that development,
I know
why not?
when we were going through that
Yeah.
first round or the last round
Yeah.
years ago, I asked that, can we use that to help us block
Yeah.
some of this? And we were told no. But
Because
if something's changed,
it's
that would be
changed.
great.
It's
Well,
changed with this new bill.
Yeah.
Not that this bill's great, but that's the one thing that
that would be great.
we can hope for.
Judy, did we ever get back that report on what the...
The build-out number is?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been able to contact Mary Jude, so I will again, and somebody else to see. They're probably getting asked by lots of municipalities.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other member of the public?
Okay, it's a small question. Anthony Longo, Parsippany. 46 West and Beverick Road. Why was the U-turn sign taken down?
Is that your only question, sir?
That's it.
Well, it was taken down, I just don't know when. I know there was an outcry that U-turn went up. So members of the public, I guess must have called down at the state, because that's a state road. And, they adhered to what the residents wanted.
I also,
I mean, listen, as the mayor of the township, I can only tell you this, that if a U-turn's put in for public safety purposes, I would never request for it to be taken down. Because, and the reason why I say that is because if the state would say it's for public safety, and the town would have said we want it removed, then we become responsible for anything going, and there's no way I want the town to be responsible for what, because you know that's a bad area.
I also believe, just to add to what the mayor said, Anthony, the DOT put up that sign without our knowledge, and they were doing it to mitigate traffic friction because down the way they were doing a project, but now that the project is completed, the sign's been removed.
Hello, good evening. My name is Hank Keller, and I live in Parsippany for 54 years. And I'm just asking, I'd like to ask why we are not doing anything about the stacking ordinances, pardon me, that we already have established in town. I have spoken to various parts of the administration. I've spoken to each of you, not each of you, almost each of you, over the past few years, and I always get a response that, well, we we can't go into those locations, we can't prove anything, we can't go to the school can't give us information, and it just sounds like you're being convenienced, and I think that you need to get beyond that in order to do the services that you need to for the town. I don't think that it's in anyone's benefit, or at least most of the citizens' benefit, to allow stacking. I don't think it's healthy for those families that are shoved into many rooms in houses with 7 or 8 and 10 cars outside, and then I don't think it's good for our school finances, and I don't think it's good for us. Okay, and I'd like you guys to think about how to solve this problem rather than finding excuses as to why it's not addressed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Snyder, 226 North Beverly Road. I'm relieved about, I guess, the level of increase, but I still think it's too much. And Mr. Cryan, I understand the challenges that a man in your position faces when trying to meet all needs and balance a budget. I want to echo a lot of what Mr. Heller said, because I too agree that the township as a whole, and even the Board of Education, really needs to dig in further in regarding to the stacking laws, and the housing department needs to enforce already existing laws instead of just throwing budgets at us and saying this is all we can do. I do think that we should be able to dig more into more cuts. I don't want to say cuts, more like saving measures to relieve the taxpayers, because a lot of us taxpayers are not getting annual raises. All right, this is tough, and this is in succession. Every year is another increase, and then in that is a subset for other fees and other increases. And so we're strapped, we're broke. I can't imagine how it is to be a senior here. So as I read the headlines in the county where they say 0% tax increase on the county level, I really hope and pray that we could start achieving that level of fiscal restraint, because we need it. We're stuck. I'm planning my exit, and I never thought I would say that. Secondly, Mr. Jiggershaw, you're not the only person that our cherished Indian community comes to and asks about information on this and information on that. We are one community. We are not categories or subsections. Your needs are our needs as well. Casey Parikh has been a stellar planning leader in this township for many years. He's my planning leader for many years, not just yours. I'm sick of hearing from your mouth, your people. As long as township resources are at meetings, every person attending the meeting should be able to speak. I attend meetings all over Parsippany, Lake Parsippany, not so much Mount Tabor, although I'll go if it fits my calendar. But regardless, I'm all over. And at each and every meeting, every attendee who wants to speak gets to speak, regardless of who they are and what your background is. There's no half Italian, half Irish club around here that I can attend, so I will attend every meeting I can attend. We are one community, and get it through your head. Thank you.
Any other member of the public would like to speak? Going once, going twice. May I please have a motion to close the public meeting?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Floor is closed. Moving on to the budget introduction, ordinance 2024-09, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank for calendar year 2024 pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-4514. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on April 16, 2024, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on May 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with a notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia. Is there a second? Or is there questions or anything?
Colette, I have a question.
Absolutely.
Because again, I have two things that I want to kind of call back into my question. And again, apologies, I don't understand the full process. Looking at the budget and understanding where there's opportunities to maybe change some of those pieces of the budget. If we put this in the ordinance, can we have those conversations, or does this push us forward?
Yeah, you absolutely can. So this is just the, this is just the introduction.
I'll second.
Absolutely. Okay,
But also, if.
Go ahead,
we
Mr.
vote for this-
Musella.
if we vote for this ordinance, essentially what we're doing is we're enabling anybody to use this cap bank that will enable more spending in future years. So that is also an important part of this ordinance.
Correct, but the ordinance will not, you could still make cuts and still have those conversations, just to address Mr. McGrath's question. You are correct, Mr. Musella, but nothing can be done until the final adoption of the budget. So in between the introduction and the adoption, which will be at the second meeting of next month, where a public meeting will be held, you can have those conversations and talk about cuts and talk about any other matter of concern that the council may have. Go ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
So what if we don't think we should vote for a 2% increase over?
Then, go ahead, Mr. Lavery.
Here's what this does,
Can I
is,
make a
you know,
statement, or do we not?
No, I'm just gonna explain what
Okay.
the purpose of the purpose of the ordinance is. If you didn't allow cap banking, then a lot of municipalities would raise their budget up to the permitted amount each year. So what it does is it's good for fiscal responsibility, because what it allows you to do is you can reduce your budget, within those percentages, but you don't lose it. So you can bank it in case you have some cataclysmic thing that happens next year that you didn't anticipate. So the reason they allow it is because they wanted to encourage good fiscal planning, so the towns didn't just say, well, we don't know what's going to happen down the road, so let's just go to the maximum amount. So,
But
bless
a
you.
lot of municipalities don't do that. Don't we have a do we have a big surplus?
I'm not aware of any municipality.
That they all exceed the cap, so we.
No, they don't all exceed the cap. It's, let's say if the cap's 2% and you were only going up to 1% in a particular year, you get to bank the 1% that you didn't use, so that towns don't automatically
Okay.
feel compelled to go up to the max. So you don't have to use it. What it allows you to do is bank whatever you don't use in subsequent years. That's all.
Because I do have some questions after we did the review, because we only had a short time and I dug down a little bit. So I do have questions on maybe how we could reduce. So I'm kind of at a loss what to do with this ordinance.
So if I understand it, though, this goes in, we take a look at it, and we don't need to approve the final budget, correct? This is our ability to negotiate through and say, I see these lines, they look too high.
This introduces it. If for some reason there were things that changed, you'd have to reintroduce, the new budget. Because if there's substantial changes when you have the second reading and public hearing, obviously.
Correct.
You have to change it. So.
Yes, so there are certain rules. So for example, if the changes exceed, I believe it's 10%, right? If your cuts exceed 10%, then you would have to reintroduce the entire budget, right? So yes, to answer your question, Mr. McGrath, if between now and the adoption, you guys feel that the budget should not be adopted, then you vote no on the second reading. But in between that, I mean, essentially the introduction of this budget allows for these conversations to happen, right? Prior to the introduction, you really couldn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you couldn't make any cuts or propose these changes for the introduction of the budget. But again, that is completely a council decision.
I get it, we can approve introducing the budget. I'm talking about the ordinance for the cap,
Or the cap bank.
the cap bank.
Yes, that, if you don't want to exceed the cap, then you don't vote on the,
Okay.
that is correct, Ms. Hernandez.
Okay.
You are correct.
So do I make my statement why?
What we can do is, prior to your vote, you're more than welcome to make a statement.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Any other questions from council members? Okay, so what we'll do is, we have a motion in a second. Prior to your vote, please give your explanation as to why you're voting the way you are.
So I appreciate the 2024 budget summary, the goals, the budget goals. And yes, we did have a few big increases in the last couple of years. Adding this to it, it's almost 21%. And as Nancy Snyder mentioned, it's just a lot. People feel beat up. They're just getting nickel and dime everywhere. And I'm not saying that we don't have great services, we do. But talking with the department last week for water and for sewer, those are things that we can't change. And so we're gonna have, or unfunded mandates, whatever you wanna call it, we'll be bonding. And I've seen a lot of the debt service in this budget that we go to bonding. I also know we're not doing the utility surplus, but the white collar salaries have allocations that are from the utilities at almost 47%, which doesn't get included in the cap. And then the other thing is we have like 500 employees and 65 vacancies with about $3 million that get carried from year to year to year, and we get taxed from year to year to year. So I think we could shave a little bit off our budget, and that's why I was talking about the cap. You know, I understand there's all these difficulties, and there's been difficulties for years and COVID, but I just think we need to get back to the people a little bit because they're just burdened, and we can still give them the services that they desire and they're used to in Parsippany, because it's a great place to be.
So, the vote is a no?
The vote is a no. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Musella?
Yeah, I'm also going to vote no on the appropriations cap bank, because I can't support this, because I think that a cap bank will enable more spending in future years, and we need to be looking at ways we can do more with less and set limits on this government when it comes to spending.
Thank you, Mr. Musella. Mr. McGrath?
So, and again, I'll go back to what Sean Andres talked about in the last session. $27 million required for PFAS places to help support our water. I believe he said there was 220 miles, so at 5,280 foot per mile at $400 per linear foot of pipe. That's about $464 million in upgrades that will be required over a period of time. This seems to me like a good idea that we need to support, because there are projects coming. If you go back and listen to that last recording, there's some major projects coming that we need to figure out how we're going to pay for those. If there's an opportunity to do something that can help support it, I'm in favor of it. So, yeah.
So you're voting yes on the cap bank? Okay, so, Mr. Neglia?
I sat through the budget meetings with the mayor, the directors, Mr. Karifi, and we looked at every single thing we could cut. Our main goal was to try to keep it as low as possible and not to use the surplus. I don't think people want to see a surplus, and I don't think people want to lose services. I also don't think people want to lose police officers, and adding 3 police officers, I think, is a bonus. I'm very much in favor of this budget, and I vote yes.
Thank you, Mr. Neglia. Mr. Karifi?
Well, this is just on this cap.
Yeah, we're not voting on
Right,
the
we're
budget.
just, right.
Yeah.
Just the cap.
This is just capping.
I just want to point out one important note that Mr. Lavery stated, that this cap bank, this allows you that money that you do not use in case, God forbid, there's ever a catastrophe in the town where we get, whether it's a ton of snow, we get another flood, whatever it is. This now enables you to have that money in reserve. God forbid you need it. If this cap bank doesn't get passed, then that money, you don't use it. You could never have it available to you. So that could be very harmful to the town. It's just an insurance policy in case you need it in the future. God forbid something happens. I vote yes.
Okay, so we have 3 yes votes, 2 no votes, so the motion passes. Moving along to resolutions, R 2023-57, the 2024 municipal budget introduction. Can I have a motion to approve? This is now just to introduce the
I'll
budget.
make a motion.
Okay,
But I'd
motion,
also like to read a statement before we vote.
no, we're only allowed for the previous one. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Second.
No, before you do make a motion, we need a second.
Mr. Neglia voted.
Okay, so, Mr. Musella, please go ahead with your statement.
Yeah, I'm supporting the introduction of this proposed budget only as a mechanism to enable the council to immediately engage in the critical cost-saving efforts necessary to bring down this tax increase. This is the third budget in a row that has been over the 2% cap. It is unacceptable that this administration has not found a way to balance its spending by now. Residents have been pleading with us for affordability, and 20% worth of tax increases is hurting our seniors, working families, the disabled, residents on fixed income, and legacy residents the most. Neighboring large towns this year, like Rockaway Township, the second largest town in Morris County, have come in with a 0% increase, and Randolph Township at a 0.9% increase in 2024. I plan to come to the table with solutions and realistic cost-saving measures for the benefit of our beleaguered taxpayers, just as I did last year.
Mr. Hernandez.
So I'll repeat what I said before. I think there's areas that we can reduce. They're not going to hurt services. There's some areas that have not utilized the budget from the previous years, and they just keep getting increased. 23%, lots of areas that we can look at without hampering the departments or cutting services to the people. And yes, I vote for introducing the budget.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. McGrath? Yes. Okay, Mr. Neglia?
I vote yes, and I'm excited to see some of the recommendations on the cutbacks from our council members, because, like I said, myself and President Karifi, along with the administration, really went through this budget very, very stringent on things we went by and the things we saw that needed cutting. So I'm excited to see the recommendations that are made that won't impact services, won't lay off 120 union employees and service people, won't cut the senior center, won't cut busing for the seniors so they have to take Uber to dialysis and to shopping. I want to see those recommended cuts, because our people in town are the most important things to me. And I don't want to see anything taken away from them. And this budget being as little increase as it is without using the surplus, I think is very good for the people and very good for the town. So yes, I do vote yes.
Mr. Karifi?
I'd also like to make the statement, in the last week or so, no one's approached me, I don't know if anyone's contacted Mr. Cryan or Mr. Ho about any kind of ideas for budget cuts. Like it's been stated by Mr. Neglia, this budget, basically for a little over $6, you're getting 3 more police officers. You're not getting any services cut. It was brought up about open positions in town. These are positions that have been filled. Let's say you have 2 openings. They might be filled, but then a month or 2 later, someone quits or retires. So now they're back open again. Okay? So it may be said that it's not impacting your services, but it is. Mr. Walsh was here last week and said there's a 2-year waiting list right now for the amount of tree work that they need to do. Now, if he had his full complement of people, that list would not be as long as it is. I'm just using that as an example. Last year, it was brought up, Mr. Musella, you said it to me, that you wanted to privatize the garbage, sanitation, which means laying off everyone, okay? Which means if you're a town like Rockaway Township, I contacted the mayor up there back then, contacted other officials up there. They pay between $75 a month and $100 a month for their garbage pickup. And that only includes 1 large pickup, maybe every 6 months. In Parsippany, you could throw out the kitchen sink to take everything, okay? So think about that. You look at this presentation here, Rockaway Township, their taxes are higher than ours, and that doesn't include garbage pickup, which can run anywhere from $900 to $1,200 a year in addition. And they're not getting the services that we get. And we're just going to toss away our sanitation workers, our senior busing. We're going to get rid of that and make seniors take Uber? Are you kidding me? No way. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I look forward to hearing these proposed cuts. I'm open to it. I think, again, for $6 a month, 3 additional police officers, no cuts in service, no surplus used whatsoever. I think right now it stands as a good budget, but I'm interested to hear these cuts in our future meetings before the final vote. I vote yes.
So we have 5 yes votes, so the motion passes.
Council President, do you mind if I can make one comment with regard to the introduction? First of all, we are under the 2% cap. We're not over it. We can't be over it. But I guess Councilman Marcel doesn't understand, there's things outside the cap that aren't included in the 2% cap. Okay, and we'll talk, I don't want to go back to the cap bank. It is an emergency type of a fund for the township. You get to use it later if you have an emergency. If not, you got to go to emergency appropriation. You got to send that down to the local board of finance to get that. Now let's compare Rockaway Township to Parsippany-Troy Hills, Randolph to Parsippany-Troy Hills. You can't. It's not apples to apples. Nowhere near it. In fact, their budget increased. I think it was ours was 2.78. I think it was Randolph 3.87. Even though they had no tax increase, the budget still increased 3.87. They have 126 township employees. You heard what somebody came up. We have 500, close to 500. There's no apples to apples here. No oranges to oranges. You're not comparing. If you're going to compare a town to Parsippany, you got to compare a town like a sister town like Wayne or something like that. Great mayor over there. I like the Randolph mayor. I like the Rockaway Township mayor. But it's a lot different. We have like the council president said, the services that we offer here in the township of Parsippany-Troy Hills is bar none. I was a township administrator in Tewksbury Township and Lebanon Township. Guess what they got for bulk pickup? Once a year. Once a year. So if you got bulk pickup, you had to wait a whole entire year. But for senior citizens, they give it twice a year. We give it every Friday. Every single Friday you get bulk pickup. And yes, there was comments made with regards to privatizing garbage. I was not in favor of it. I was a controller of a sanitation company. I know how sanitation works. I understand it wholeheartedly. And I do know this. I know it's probably, and this is nothing to anybody else's jobs, one of the hardest jobs in the township. Sanitation, and I can tell you that firsthand, sanitation, and I believe they do a great job, and I know they do. When I have a resident who may be upset, I'll say to them, and I'm upfront with them, hey, listen, you got one guy in the back of a truck, one driving. When they dump that truck, that's 18 tons. That means that guy in the back pretty much lifted 18 tons during the course of the day. So I do not want to get rid of our sanitation department, because you're never going to get services the way you get them here in Parsippany. No other town gets them like that. And I'm proud of that. With that being said, though, this is just an introduction. The cap bank is an emergency type of a thing. If you don't want to do a cap bank, like Councilman McGrath said, not only do we have a lot of coming on, we're going to probably have to build more wells when this affordable housing kicks in. Where's that money going to come from? Well, it comes from the emergency types of things that we're going to be doing in town. So, thank you, Council President.
Yeah, I'd just like to clear up 2 things. First, to the mayor, I appreciate you've presented the best budget possible, and we're going to take it from here. But I want to respond to the council president, because I guess he must have some amnesia that he thinks I said we needed to privatize our trash pickup, because last year at the budget hearings, the ones that we held that you didn't want to do. So let's just remember that.
I didn't want to do. I voted to do.
I'll
respond. I'll respond when you're done.
But the plan that I put forth was very similar to the plan that you, Council President DePiero, and Greg Nani put forward in 2019. It was almost identical, and there was no privatizing of our DPW in that plan. So it's a lie. It's not true. I didn't discuss it last year, and most of the people who were at those budget hearings last year know the same thing.
Right. Now I'm going to respond. I'll put you on a lie detector test right now, because you know You had those conversations with me. You had those conversations individually with other council members. You wanted to lay off, you wanted to privatize sanitation. You wanted to close the senior center because you wanted to lay off 130 people. And your exact quote to me is, I don't care if they get pink slips. It's not my job to find them another job. Which to me, there's no way I'm going to allow that to happen. You wanted to get rid of senior busing, the free busing for the seniors, because you said you staked out bus stops and didn't see more than 3 seniors get on a bus at a time. So you said, we don't need that. And your quote was, I said to you, how are they going to get there? And you said, they can get there with an Uber. That's a fact. Put you on a lie detector test right now. Now, I know they're not court admissible, but that is a fact, and you know it.
Well, the only person that wouldn't pass a lie detector test is you. So,
Okay.
when it comes to the budget,
You're gonna say the other council members that you all had that in the, you wouldn't say it in public. You wouldn't say it in public because you're not gonna want the sanitation guys to know that you're talking about laying them off. You're not gonna want the seniors that live in town to know that you're talking about closing stuff down like that. You wouldn't say it in public, but behind closed doors, you would say it.
yeah, but you can make up hearsay and things that.
That is a.
Justin, that was the truth. I was in the room when you said it. That was the truth. You did say that. I mean, maybe you were inexperienced at the time, but you did say that.
Okay, anything else before I move on? Okay. Consent agenda, moving on. Be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. May I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yep.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving along to approval of minutes. Agenda meeting 3/5/2024, regular meeting 3/19/2024. May I please have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to presentations and reports. Mayor?
Well, you got my report tonight, pretty much. I thought we were gonna have, Kiwanis members here to do a proclamation.
They are.
Oh, you are here? Oh, you are here, okay. Are you ready? Next time, we'll put you on first. And any of the township department heads, you have to stick around. Unless you want to.
So department heads, you guys can leave if you'd like, or you're more than welcome to stay. Except for, no, I'm just kidding.
Great job on this. You really did a great job.
Thanks.
Justin.
Oh. Council members, want to come down? Oh, it's all Kiwanis?
Yeah, they're Kiwanis.
All right, it's for the Kiwanians.
I belong to enough organizations.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I got 4 new suits. The New York Lottery, I'm okay. Okay, the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills proclamation. Well, whereas we all have responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills to help create healthy, nurturing, and safe experiences for children. And whereas healthy and safe childhoods help produce confident and successful adults. And whereas child abuse and neglect often occur when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas incidents of child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure all families have the support they need and deserve to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas it is recognized that no person can do everything, but that everyone can do something. And together we can create change for the better. And whereas effective prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among nonprofit organizations, government agencies, volunteer organizations, schools, service clubs, houses of worship, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas Kiwanis Club of Greater Parsippany strives to promote awareness by planting a pinwheel garden at Parsippany Town Hall in April to serve as a positive reminder that all children deserve great childhoods, happy, healthy, and safe. Now therefore, I, James R. Barbera, the mayor of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, and I urge all citizens to engage in the activity that strengthens families and communities to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive, so that all children have the benefit of happy, healthy, and safe childhoods. Dated this 16th day of April, 2024. I'd like to just add one more thing. You want to hold that, Frank? Since I've been mayor, back in 2010 and to now, the Kiwanis Club has been so significant in the community of Parsippany. They're a staple in the community. They've done so much, especially during Hurricane Irene. You partnered with Sons of Italy, Hurricane Sandy, and all the Children's Miracle Network. You know, now when I come from a family, we lost my brother to brain cancer, but you have been a staple in the community. I can't thank you enough, all of you in Kiwanis, for all you do for the community, because we can't do it by ourselves. We have to be a team and partner, so thank you. You want to say anything, Frank? No? Okay. That thing's blocking you, but it's kidding. So, wait, we're still down here. Get it, huh? Wait, one more, get up. Next time, we gotta change it. I speak first. I know, I think we're gonna do that from now on. I'll give you guys that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Mayor?
That's fine, I'm done.
Okay, moving on to Township Council. Any member of the Township Council?
Yep, so I got a few. So, a couple things coming up. Chamber of Commerce is going to be this Tuesday on 4/23 at 8:30 a.m. It's going to be at the Chamber of Commerce office at 90 East Halsey Road, 3rd floor. I mentioned this last time. Great opportunity to come and engage with your peer businesses here in Parsippany. Additionally, the Transparency Advisory Committee, we are tentatively going to be on for Thursday, the 25th at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. I'm going to verify with all the members. Colette and I were just confirming dates and times I had available here. Again, highly recommend that we have everybody within the community attend, especially now that the budgets are being presented. And the last one is Economic Development. The Economic Development team, alongside Mayor James Barbario, will host a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially welcome Wash and Wags on Saturday, April 20th at 11:30 a.m. Wash and Wag is located at 87 North Beverwick Road. Public is cordially invited to join in the celebration. The next meeting of the Economic Development Committee is Wednesday, May 1st at 6:30 p.m. at 90 East Halsey Road, 3rd floor conference room. Please note this is a change of date. Public is invited. Please RSVP with Chairman Frank Cahill at 973-559-6000. And I'm going to bring it up probably every single committee meeting. We keep talking about these grants that are available to the public. So there's two different grants that we've talked about. One is a provision of $5,000 to $50,000 to reimburse business proprietors for expenses linked to interior-exterior enhancements and acquisition and installation of new fixtures, furniture, and equipment. So far, what, about 3 months to date, Frank? We're over $600,000 applied for by different businesses in Parsippany. So pretty incredible when you think about what the opportunity for folks are. And as we know, the Beverwick Streetscape project is coming up. So we're going to also work with the mayor and with Justin Leza and the people that are going to be doing that work to put together a meeting for those folks as well, to make sure that there's an opportunity for them to understand what's going to happen and know that these grants will become available. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. McGrath. Any other member of town council?
I was just going to ask if we could get the latest crime report. I always hate to keep asking you, but if there's a way we could just maybe have it auto set to be emailed or presented, that would be great.
Sure. Okay, moving along. Township Attorney?
No report this evening, Council President.
Business Administrator?
Yeah, real quickly, thank you, Council President, Council. Resolution 2024-064 on the consent agenda is a resolution appointing qualified purchasing agent and setting the bid threshold. We have Suzanne Taylor here with us, and I want to welcome her aboard. Suzanne brings to the town over 25 years of experience. In her spare time, she teaches purchasing at Rutgers. That's where I first met her. I took 3 classes with her, and I made sure after the first class that I got the second class with her and the third class because I learned so much. She's an incredible asset to this team. You'll see your agenda is packed. A lot of that stuff is her fault, and it's going to be her fault for the next few meetings. She's doing a lot to make sure that we're compliant and make sure that every dollar that goes out is watched.
Okay, I have no report. Moving along to ordinances first reading. 2024-06, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, Morris County, New Jersey, establishing Chapter 298 entitled Privately Owned Salt Storage. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on April 16, 2024, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on May 22, 2024 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution?
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 2024-07, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, Morris County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 225, Land Use, Subdivision, and Site Plan to create Article 16 related to stormwater management controls. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on April 16, 2024, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on May 21, 2024 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with a notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve above resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 2024-08, bond ordinance providing for various water utility capital improvements in and by the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills and the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $5,300,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,300,000 bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on April 16, 2024, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on May 21, 2024 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 2024-10, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing the payment of claims without a claimant certification pursuant to NJSA 40:15-16 C, and NJAC 5:30-9A.6. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on the first reading of the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on April 16, 2024, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on May 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. prevailing times or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with a notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. May I please have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to the non-consent agenda. R 2024-61, authorizing participation in National Purchasing Cooperative known as the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative. Motion to approve.
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2024-62, grant fee exemptions in connection with permits for construction, zoning, engineering, fire prevention, health, parks, and forestry and recreation departments to the Women's Club of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2024-63, authorizing award of contract to Berto Construction for North Beverwick Road Streetscape Phase 2. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
made by Mr. Hernandez,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2024-064, appointing a qualified purchasing agent and setting bid threshold. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second, okay, so motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Congratulations. R 2024-65, authorizing the purchase of a multi-pro 1750 sprayer and accessories from Store Tractor utilizing the Bergen County Cooperative Purchasing System contract. Motion to approve resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2024-67, superseding resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing the award of contracts for professional, financial, engineering, environmental, architectural, appraisal, archaeological, housing, and planning services for the 2024 year. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yep.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2024-68, awarding contract for on-site wellness coach.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to the approval of payroll and bills list, the CFO Leonard Ho recommends authorization for payment. Number one, authorize payment of the April 26, 2024 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000. And number two, payment of bills from voucher list of April 15th through April 17th, which is $906,478.96. Motion to approve the authorization for payment, please.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, we're going to go into executive session. For the public, we do not anticipate being there more than 5-10 minutes maximum, and we do anticipate that action be taken after the executive session. With that being said, executive session resolution, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss attorney-client privilege settlement recommendation, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills that the public be excluded from the meeting. Motion to adjourn into closed session, please.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia seconded by, Mr. Musella. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned into closed session, that we shall be back out shortly. Thank you. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
We are now back into open session. At this time, we're going to move on to resolution. Before we do that, may I have the Township Attorney just provide a brief report?
Sure. We emerged from executive session at 9:01 PM where we discussed one matter, which was a pending litigation matter, Can versus Keegan et al. No official action was taken. Copies of these minutes will be available at such time as the council determines there is no harm to the public interest.
Thank you, Mr. Lavery. R 2024-66, approving settlement of litigation captioned Can versus Keegan et al., docket number MRS L 854-20 in the New Jersey Superior Court, Law Division of Morris County. Motion to approve resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Sorry, I went out of order there. Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.